Worms, worms, worms. Did I ever think I'd end up with worms? No. Am I happy with worms? Yes. I was born in Nairobi, Kenya, and I grew up here in Tigoni on my parents' farm. Other children always wanted to be doctors, nurses, but I knew I always wanted to go into farming because if you give something to nature, nature gives something back. I come from the younger generation, meaning that we care more than just about profit. Profit has to come hand in hand with solutions that are nature-oriented, solutions that are people-oriented, just so you have a more well-rounded picture. When I was 17, I left Nairobi to go and study agriculture in Den Bosch in the Netherlands. I actually studied international food and agribusiness, and during my time there, I thought I wanted to explore different value chains. The first place that I went was Ecuador, where I worked with coffee farmers in the Amazon. So what we were looking at was how to make more cohesive systems, so how nature can work with agriculture. After that, I went to Nepal, where I explored maize, turmeric, and honey value chains, looking at how all three can come together and people can collaborate. After I graduated, I came home because I believe there are more than enough opportunities in this organized chaos that we call Kenya. My parents do, they're both entrepreneurs, but I knew I didn't want to do any of those. I wanted to stay specifically in agriculture. But the question was where to go. So I looked at all the different new sustainable forms of agriculture like lettuce and hydroponics, but I knew that I wanted to do something with livestock because I believe white meat is the next frontier in livestock production. You have poultry and you have fish. Chickens are smelly, so I knew that was not for me. So I thought I would look more deeply into fish. So we started researching fish because it is a sustainable alternative to beef. And then what we realized in the process of researching was that it is very difficult to produce fish at cost. Currently, most of the fish that is imported into Kenya from China is cheaper than what we can produce locally. So this, posed a challenge. We started asking ourselves, why can farmers in China produce it cheaper than we can? And then we realized the problem was feed. So feed makes up 70% of the cost of production, while in Europe it's less than 50. So what is this big difference in production? So when we started breaking down the components of feed, we realized that it was a protein component. It's crazy to me that we have to also not just import our fish, but also import our fish meal to feed our animals. We can do this better. The other main protein component in Kenya is soy. But Kenya is also not a soy-producing nation, meaning that is also a product for import. Imported products come with a tax, meaning that the price of production in Kenya is just going to keep on going up. I was not only looking for an alternative, easy to grow, local, but also something that is more sustainable and will help close food systems, making everything a bit more circular, environmentally friendly, and also helping the farmers along the way. And that's how we ended up with insects. These small, tiny little bugs that actually hold a lot of power. The first insect we actually looked at was a cricket. When you're researching crickets, the whole internet is shouting at you, "Black soldier flies!" Then we thought, what is this and why is it so interesting? So the black soldier fly is this tiny little fly that is able to take all organic matter, be it vegetable waste, fruit waste, farm waste, and turn that into high-value protein and fertilizer. We had hit the jackpot. Our first questions were, how can we take this from a concept to reality and what is needed in between? Hello? We made phone calls to different producers of animal feed and we discovered that the market was huge. There was one producer who said, "When can you supply me with 500 tons? A month or per year?" Then he said, "No, per month." I was still shocked, so my next question was, "You want kilos or tons?" "Tons, 500. That was less than 5% of their protein needs every month. So after that, I was like, okay, the market is there in plenty. Everybody's ready to offtake this. What else do we need? Nairobi produces 2,500 tons of organic waste every single day. So there is plenty to go around. We had the waste, we have the market. Now it's a question of how do we get the waste converted into something that the market wants. We started in November of 2018 with 2 kilos of black soldier flies, half of which I'm sure I killed by, I don't know, not mixing correctly, and the other half we got them to get to flies. But the flies took so long. The internet says it should take 4 weeks maximum. So at 4 weeks we're checking there's no fly. At 5 weeks there's no fly. We did a lot of desk research and it's very interesting. Each site has a different opinion about how to grow the black soldier flies. So we said, let us start small before we expand and build something big. We've now developed our own internal standard operating procedures, meaning that the system runs by itself. Welcome to our repopulation room. This is where we make our black soldier fly eggs. It starts with prepupae. The prepupae are larvae that are still moving and are ready to become a fly. They go from a light brown, which is harvestable, to a darker brown. You can see his tail is starting to change color, to black. Black means he's almost going to turn into a fly. From here, they start to go still. When they go still like this means in 4 days we will have a fly. From prepupae, a fly will crawl out and leave behind a shell. From this shell, we know the flies have come out and are ready to lay eggs. So they lay the eggs here in between the wooden pieces. Each gram of eggs is around 30,000 black soldier flies. From the flies, we get our 5-day-olds. And the 5-day-olds are what we go and incubate in our waste. 10 days later, we have our 2 end products. We have our fertilizer and we have our black soldier fly meal. For the past 2 years, we've known where we wanted to go. So we had architectural blueprints made way ahead of time for our new facility. So we hope with our blueprints, we're able to go from 40-ton a month production to a 150-ton a month production. Conservatively, we're hoping for more, but those are wonderful conservative numbers. And we hope in 2021 to have our big factory ready, finished, off the ground. So it was a lot of also new research steps. It's a completely new industry. We had to make the machines from scratch. This industry is very, machine heavy, equipment heavy, so there are a lot of costs associated with what we're doing to set up. If we really want to make an impact on the feed industry, we need to grow bigger. In order to grow bigger, we're looking at a 5-ton facility here, a 10-ton facility there. Just how much of Nairobi's waste can we process using these insects? Instead of taking 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to get there, with investment, we can get there in 1 year already because we know how our system works. So we can easily make the jump from 2 tons to 5 tons. So the government needs to be involved because, the government is involved in everything. I pay taxes, I hope you do too. So what we're looking at with the government is we need the environmental licenses, the wildlife licenses, the research licenses, but seeing how insects is a new industry, currently the only regulation that exists is on butterflies. So we are not growing butterflies. Where do we fall? Are we livestock? Are we composting? Are we feed production? Which category works for what we are trying to do? We applied for our first government license in, was it November? Early 2019 in November. And we finally got it. We were able to work together with the government and reach a point where we are now being regulated under a few umbrella organizations. If we're able to crack this nut, then all the other farmers who follow us behind will have a lot of an easier time getting involved in the government, having the government help them and see what is the right path to take. I am going on holiday for a month because we've been fighting them for more than a year. So right now we're around 55 people on my team. Our average age is 28, making us very young. And then we want these people to grow to be able to feed their families, but also for the community around us. We really believe in what we're doing. We're proving that sustainability and profitability can exist in the same circle, and that it's not exclusive to social enterprises, but big business can also be generated for this. I think that if Kenya continues in the direction that we are going, where we're creating more sustainable businesses, not just for the long-term profitability, but also considering the people and the environment, we're building a bigger, brighter, better, greener, more circular Kenya.